Peace, world. So I'm putting this. Got to do what I was supposed to do already. Peace, world. My name is Wood. Get into episode 7 of SHŌGUN. This episode's title is A Stick of Time. I hadn't heard this concept, or hadn't picked up on this concept to this point, about this incense stick burning, and that's kind of how they kept time. At the tea house, that's how they kept time. Never dawned on me, but and I caution people or encourage people, you gotta watch these episodes 1 or 2 times. I thought this was a very slow episode, or a placeholder, or a setup episode, but it actually, including the loss of a major character in the passing of Nagakado. A lot of stuff, a lot of good meaty stuff pops up here. Overall, this episode, like fate, is killing everybody. Interestingly, the glaring, remember last week it was this focus on like the absent, or the presence of absence, I think, in the room with the threesome, potential dry threesome, or however you want to look at it, with Blackthorn, Kiku, Lady Kiku, and Mariko. Interestingly, the absence of Lord Oshido and Lady Okata. Didn't see neither one of them this week. And it's really interesting when you consider that we get the arrival of such an impactful character who really totally puts Toranaga on the back foot, apparently, in his half-brother Psyche. So this is going up on Pay Me No Mind as a video, and then I'm also going to be putting this out on It's Always Personal as an episode, continuing to recap the remaining episodes of It's Always of SHŌGUN. So again, my name is Wood, and this is It's Always Personal. Definitely TV watching it. It's a lot of great tales out there. So again, one thing that a lot of stuff sailed over my head on the first viewing. Who's responsible for putting the battery in Nagakado's back to take a shot at the king, or a lord, or / vassal, in attacking his uncle, Psyche, who disrupts a lot of stuff this week. He disrupts everything, and it's a play that's kind of like, again, that's really disrupted everything in a way, because you had to suspect. I have to believe that Toranaga knew that this would go down this way. I have to believe that. And if you listen to the early discussion between Yabashigi and Hiromatsu told him, if it's been too long since they talked, if it's been too long, then this will be over with before our swords get wet. So everybody that's dealing with fate at varying levels. Toranaga, this whole thing is hanging over his head. But again, I have to believe he knows how these chips are falling before they fall. As Lady Gen put it to him, you wouldn't have left yourself exposed like this if I'm reading you wrong. And they both rose from the same kind of similar circumstances. Toranaga once being a peasant, and her being raised in the Yukarim or whatever. I meant to look that up. But she knows a hustler. She knows a hustler when she sees one, right? And she's dealt with them all. Lady Gin, she's like, I hate to bug you, my lord. I know I'm gonna be all right because I'm selling Gucci. And after y'all cut everybody's heads off and go to war, y'all need to come to the Willow world. So my business is untouchable. I just had this business proposal for you, and what happens. I'm gonna shoot my shot because it's some wheels getting ridden right now with us moving towards full-on war. Blackthorn, he's totally wrapped up, consumed by his fate. Like, can I get on my ship and get the hell up out of here? Can I get to the Erasmus and my crew of men that I continue to ask you about? Mariko, this woman, this is Lady Death. She's like, all of this is pretty cool, but my people, my lineage is cursed, and I just want to be out of here. Can it happen tonight? Please. I don't have to wait until Shido's, the army of the rest of the regents come here. Let me out tonight. I'm tired of all of this. And notice how the relationship, we thought that it was gonna be a lot of lovey-dovey stuff with her and Blackthorn, and that's kind of been totally put on the back burner. Nagakado and Fate. I mean, this man has served his papers. Bruh, that thing you did with Nabara Jorzen, you got an answer to that. And the answer is seppuku. Boom. Let's get it over. So he's got a lot hanging over his head. Yabashige is constantly looking at the box score or the scoreboard and laughing and chuckling. Like, anything that doesn't happen in his favor, he's got to laugh for it. And he tells, of all people, he meets with Blackthorn on the shore, and he's like, I'm talking to this freaking guy. As soon as I get out of one thing, I'm in another. But Yabashige, early in the episode, again, he's talking to he's sizing everything up and running the different permutations to see what's the likelihood that his will doesn't have to get executed. He asked me, hey man, how you think this thing is gonna play out with his brother, with his half brother? Fuji, ever since her husband Tadayoshi, we saw him he was the first one that introduced us to the seriousness of seppuku and fate, how instant it can be, fate. And then also Hiromatsu, he's tied up, and what's his fate? And being the right hand of his lord Toranaga. And their relationship is pretty interesting because Hiromatsu is one of the few people that doesn't really need to. It doesn't seem like every sentence his life hangs in the balance of every scene. It's like it's some leniency because they have the relationship that we just learned about going back to a war 46 years ago. Hiromatsu, he has to be respectful, but he's allowed to make a mistake. He's allowed to speak freely, crack a joke, and he can share his true thoughts on some things. You saw he checked his son, like, don't address me as your father, address me as Lord. So that's it. We got a lot of people dealing with fate, and that's what a stick of time really pulls to the forefront. In the opening scene with this Mizuguchi character, who's been defeated by the boy warlord, his whole little reason for being featured is he says, fate forced me into an unwinnable war. That's what he tells 12-year-old 12-year-old Toranaga before he surrenders or commits seppuku, as the boy warlord needs a number of times to cut off his head. Before I get into this though, another interesting thing to listen to in the middle of the show and then the closing scene of the show is Saiki talks about the beauty. Is there any beauty in death? And it asks a question again, like however y'all want to look at fate. Lady Ochiba wants to scratch out the eyes of fate and bend fate and wield it and control it. Lady Gin talks to Toranaga, who I gotta think is subscribes to the thought and the approach of Ochiba taking fate. But he's a counterpuncher, total counterpuncher. But Lady Gin is like, look, in the right hand, fate in the hands of the right person can be used as a sword. So, but yeah. So anyway, let me get into it. I already mentioned Yabashigi. Always checking the scoreboard. We have this opening where this behind me. They're out in the woods, out in the forest, awaiting the arrival of Saiki Nobutatsu. And this is a crucial moment because Toranaga needs to know if he's gonna get the use of another army to help his chances. So he's summoned his brother, his half brother, to come to Azuro, to the fishing village where he's set up, and listen to my proposal. And Saiki is a wild boy. He comes in with the silver. You know, that must be the colors of his house. It's kind of a silver or light gray. And he's a bit of a boisterous guy. And he's prickly. This relationship, we see that him and his half brother at times it's an up and down relationship. But he is very focused on his own well-being and his legacy, what he can get out of this world, and securing his own long-term. Because you see, he tells Nagakado, like, all this death shit and going to battle and in war and even putting yourself in a position where you're facing life and death. You know, beauty in that. Focus on legacy, enjoying it. Because he comes in and you got to have a different woman every day of the week, right? By now, nephew. So we get introduced to Saiki, who just completely wrecks this episode. If you're team Toranaga. Again, no appearances in this episode from Ishido and Ochiba. And it's like they've finally gotten it right. I wonder if we get a flashback next week between Ishido and Ochiba, where she tells him, "You've tried to do it your way, and I've been letting you playful things. Here's what you need to do: is get his brother involved and be an X factor and move things along so we can get this taken care of." I already mentioned Hiromatsu. You know, he responds to Yabashigi, the status of the relationship, and if it has been too long since these guys spoke, this will be over before our. And I'm wondering, like, does Hiromatsu does he know the plan? And is he playing alone? Mariko comes in and she's the one that says this one stick of time. I missed it the first viewing, but I think I had to hear in quotes that she mentions one stick of time, and she has some. It's interesting that she keeps having these even though all the soldiers and the men, all of their lives are like hanging in the balance and can be over at any minute. But here they are negotiating 12,000 or 1,200 manmis with to have a week of the services of the great Lady Kiku, or Sunshine, as I called her in the last episode from Rage in Harlem. If you threw her up in the air, they would call it Sunshine. We get at the end of this, we see my man Saiki. He like, hey, I'm gonna build you a palace, your own palace. My seventh consort, the lucky one. I'm gonna bring you to Edo, and good Lord, he had the thing tied around his neck. I'm afraid of what Kiku has going on down below. She got things. She's got a nice little setup for her when all the dust settles. So Blackthorn, it's interesting that there was no interpretation when he's questioning his purpose and why I've been given all of these gifts. Again, like and Toranaga, again, it's just he's waiting this out. And this is killing everybody else. Like, what are we gonna do? What's the plan? When are we gonna strike? And then one thing that bides Toranaga some time is obviously he just lost 1,000 or so troops from this earthquake. So it's like he really can't be too aggressive because he lost the troops in the earthquake, and now his brother comes in and he's awaiting his decision when he gives him his proposal of an alliance. So all he can really do is wait. But again, Blackthorn closes that scene where he says, in all clearness, I am ready for whatever fate may bring. Again, fate. And Lord Toranaga smiles at him like, my man, you finally picking up on what I'm laying down, and I see you want to get in line now and cooperate so I can scratch you off. You know what to do. I have some stars here by Lady Gin. She makes this power move. And what I'm talking about is when not too many of the women, I said this in the last episode, and especially when I went in a little more in depth on It's Always Personal, where I talked about this, and it might be to the chagrin of some men, but I think it's a very interesting study into the status of women at this period of time and what's going on with these women. You can listen to that episode. I don't want to rehash it all here, but not too many of these women can stiffen their necks and stand up straight and look the men in the eyes. And here, Lady Gin and Omi, who's coming to visit the love of his life in Lady Kiku, and he's rejected. And Lady Gin out in public stands in front of him, is like, get out of here, be gone. Or I can give you one of these other women, but my hitter, she's booked for the rest of the week. And the interesting thing that she gives away is she reveals that the engine's mind, as good as Lady Kiko's box is, and her pleasuring skills, the engine wasn't even focused on her. And it's interesting that she shared that, and why she shared that, why she shared it to him, and what is Omi even gonna do anything with it, or was that just for our benefit as the viewers? And that's one of these things I mentioned with these shows. She know that. I know the walls, not the walls, the walls in the structure, in the tea house. I know all of these walls are very thin. And it's interesting to look. That's one of my other cues, notes that I have here. The NPCs of the show, the non-player characters. These, for instance, the guy that comes and gives Hiromatsu the box with the remains of Tadayoshi and the baby of Fuji. Like, he sits down and then my man pops up right away with the box. These different characters and the servants. It's wild how their movement and what cues them to do this: pour the sake, take the sake away, replace the bottle. The dude that brings over the scrolls to Seiki, when he's cued to do that, like, that's just a little something that a little nuance that I know. But and it's interesting that Omi says, well, you know, since the engine was here, you know, your tea house is spoiled. Trying to like shoot it, fire a shot at her because he's being turned away. But it doesn't even hurt her feelings because you're here to see the exact courtesan that he spoiled by laying with your girl. So is it really spoiled, or are you just mad because I'm telling you to be gone? Okay, so then there's the sit down between grandfather Hiromatsu and his granddaughter Fuji. Comes over to the Anjin's house and he compliments her on how clean she keeps the house. And he delivers the remains of her husband. We met in the first episode, and her child. I'm like, hey, this Amazon Prime that they got going on is serious, because how did that get there? When we saw Hiromatsu last episode roll into town on the horse after leaving Osaka, successfully sneaking out of Osaka, when did he have his package on the side of his horse? When did it get there? So we got a little appearance by some Amazon driver who dropped off remains of Tadayoshi and baby Tadayoshi, and this kind of emboldens or galvanizes, re-energizes Fuji to stay focused. You're a very important character for some reason, and we need you in this mission. Don't lose faith. And she's like, when we get done with all of this, I can join my husband and my son. And Hiromatsu was like, why wouldn't you live? So again, she's struggling with what her fate is, and is she reading this right or not? Again, what I was saying there, when he comes in the house and people are cleaning up, she's inspecting the night's food and the menu for the night, the evening, and he goes to sit down. She slides that mat over there for her grandfather. And then, like I said, my man pops out of nowhere. If you watch it again, you do hear Hiromatsu say something or like motion somebody, hey, bring me that box that I brought. So it wasn't, but they just cut it the wrong way where you didn't see it. But it's just interesting how these different figures, and they stare at the ground, they take these little baby steps. They're very subservient in their posture and everything. So that's that. We get to the hot springs scene with Nagakado. Again, throughout this episode, he tells Omi, I hope they send all of Osaka. I hope they send everybody, because I'm killing them all. And Pops has been telling this boy, like, hey, bruh, this aggressive stuff that you on and wanting war, you foolish, man. You young and foolish. But he tells, Nagakado was out here in front of all the other men talking about, I hope they bring all of Osaka, because I'm putting them all in the dirt. And he says I hear that the first kill in battle is better than the first woman. So is he a virgin? Has he not taken advantage of his status as the heir to Toranaga? Has he not acted on that and taken his uncle's advice to have all these women? Are you sitting around just focused on battle? And wanting to earn your stripes in that area of the game. Yobashigi, again, he laughs. Yobashigi just always looking, always listening, and gives that little chuckle and says, well, it depends on the woman, bro. Like, I don't know who you've been talking to and what battles they were in, but if you meet the right courtesan, the right woman, nah, bro. I'll take the woman. You can take the battle and the kills. We get to the dinner, which is a super important scene, and just everything that's going on. Really, this is an explosive exchange where Saiki, he came and he made that comment about you had to reach out to your mediocre brother. That's how down bad you are. You had to hit me up, and you need my help and my army. And he tells everybody, the samurai of Kanto, my men look forward to shedding blood alongside you. And then we get to this dinner, and again, Toranaga is reading him and waiting. He's waiting and waiting for what he's looking for, the truth. And Saiki's true motivations and his true allegiance. And he sits here at this dinner in front of everybody and allows Saiki to run with ruining his reputation, being chastised by his brother in front of his men, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, get it off, I'm waiting. And he's trying to delay when they'll actually talk about the details of the proposal, and just how Toranaga plays people and reads people and really just sits back long enough to let them do his bidding. And Saiki proves to be another Falcon. He gets impatient and says, you know what, the hell with it. And what was the signal for his men to ride up on the ridge of the mountains and let it be known that now you're under siege? We're no longer here to talk business and listen to a proposal. We cutting everything off. We're in control now. And my man comes over and brings him the box. And he's like, I've been approached by, I wanted, and he even joked around about taking Izu. I've been just guarding this land, some area called Tangini or something. There ain't no action going on over there. And I can't increase my fiefdom and nothing with that area. But I like this Izu. But then he reveals, he's really a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm here. I'm part of the council now. I accepted the deal from Ishido, and I'm one of the 5. And I'm here now. We're requesting you to surrender, to turn yourself in, and we get past this era of the reign of Toranaga, and you come in and complete seppuku and get this over with. And then he throws the it's funny when we gonna be respectful and when the decorum goes out the window, and he throws the scroll over there to Hiromatsu and is like, here, and Hiromatsu reads it, and the decree or whatever from Ishido, and Toranaga is sitting back like, yeah, I knew this was coming. I knew this shit was happening. And then he throws the one over to he throws the scroll over to Nagakado. Yeah, bruh, you thought we forgot about that shit? And you sent us Nabara Josen's head and the thing and all of that, and you killed all the troops. Well, you need to come on to Osaka and join your father in the seppuku, and we get rid of you too. It's a wrap. One thing that I forgot to mention was there's some interesting things going on with Omi. Why we should pay attention to him. But he before Saiki interrupts, the hospitality, Omi gives a jab to Buntaro and kind of feeds his fire that's burning in Buntaro, the situation between Blackthorn and his wife Mariko. And he's like, you must be impressed, or you must be proud of her devotion to her duty, sir. Now he's been told, I guess that was the battery in his back was why Lady Gin told that to him, that Blackthorn the engine was in here with getting the services and the pleasure of Kiku, but wasn't thinking about her. You know what I mean? And so Omi goes over here while he's watching the early part of the dinner, and he's like, yeah, you gotta be proud of how your wife is over there, how her level of devotion to her duty and interpreting and whatever else is going on with her and the barbarian. And Buntaro's the most feared fighter, the most feared warrior, shows a lot of restraint. And it's like, nah, she's playing her role, her duty to our Lord. Keep your focus right. Thank you on here and I take your head if I wanted to, but I'm gonna hide it for right now. At how this is really a problem for me. Yeah, she's doing this out of duty to Toranaga. Keep my wife's name out your mouth before I take your head. Ain't gonna be no slaps. I'm gonna take your head. There was also a real moment of silence when Saiki continues to tell these stories. He tells everybody he tells everybody in the room what we were shown in the opening of the show with Mizuguchi killing himself in the end of the first victory by Warlord Toranaga. And then Saiki goes even farther. And I told you how at 12 years old or whatever, he took this general or this lord's head with one swing. But now I'm gonna take him down a couple of pegs in front of everybody's eyes, because in one situation where he was handed over as hostage and had to ride with the ops, boy shitting on himself. He drinking and laughing it off and whatnot. And Toranaga, he's like, he's really letting this play out. Really letting it play out. But the rest of the room is like, whoa. Nagakado's getting a little feisty. Hey, motherfucker, that's my dad, bruh. Uncle. Hey, calm that shit down, bruh. Because I'm looking for a fight. But he hadn't been served the papers just yet, though. It's the seppuku papers. But that was real shift in the energy of the room, and kind of implied or foreshadowed just how much of an ass Saiki was gonna be. So after Saiki drops the bomb on everybody, and hey, I really didn't come here to hear no proposal. I came here to deliver the news and tell you where things stand right now, that you've been summoned to the castle in Osaka, bruh, and I need to hear how you want it. Do I need to take care of you with the men that are here, or you gonna follow me back to Osaka and do the honorable thing? And so the morning after, is the ripple effects of what everybody learned so brazenly, at dinner last night. When the man is trying to be hospitable to you, Blackthorn's mind is racing. He like, look, man, I gotta get out here and clean the ship up. If Mariko, if you can go get it clear and give me the authorization to go out here and get my ship together. I gotta check the bilges. I gotta scrub the careening, and I go up here and sew the sail myself. And meanwhile, there's an Ishido ship in the harbor. So they got them covered by sea and land. But he's like, I go out here and tighten up my ship, make sure that it's ready, its readiness is 100%. And we could This is a wild scene because this is one of the first times where Mariko was like, bruh, I'm tired of you and this shit, and I'm tired of you thinking that you're in control of your own fate, bruh. You could do what? You could really do what? Exactly. And looks him dead in his eyes. And then she gets up and walks off, and Fuji is like, brother. But Angie and then Blackthorn says, well, you know, sitting here talking about and getting ready for battle is better than sitting here standing here pissing around. Lord Saiki is not through. This dude just dropping bombs on everybody. He goes and pays Yabashigi a visit. Hey, bruh, I know you've been waiting on your man that you sent us, Igarashi, the dude with the eye patch. He was trying to secure. He was playing, you know, he was playing the sides against the middle, and trying to work out a side deal, cut a side deal, and express your allegiances to Ishido. You come to Osaka and talk it through, but here goes your boy, and he has the head in the thing, and in the little container. Again, now he didn't need the Amazon Prime, man. He had a whole army with him. You know, this could have been on a wagon or something, or he could have had somebody carrying this container with its contents. But again, Yabashigi gives a real wry chuckle. Again, he's boxed in again, and he's kind of like, at this point, he's kind of tethered. He's kind of tethered. His fate is kind of tethered to Toranaga at this point. He can't speak to Ishido directly. He don't have no falcons, no pigeons. And look, the optics are, from Ishido's standpoint, the optics are you in bed with him. So when I clean house, you're probably not gonna be left standing. And Yabashigi's kind of resigned to the fact that he's boxed in. As much as he's tried to maneuver and position himself to have some options, he's running out of it. We also see the start of Toranaga's contemplation. He's out in the woods with this structure that's been built. And he's trying to throw some coins up on the top of that thing without it falling over, which is maybe like symbolic of what the balancing act that he's doing right now. Then we get, Nagakado again. He's over here talking about war with Hiromatsu and Buntaro. They're standing, 20 feet away or whatever, we're waiting for Toranaga to make his decision. What's their move? Is he gonna surrender? Buntaro's like, let me ride to Edo and get our troops together. Come on, Hiromatsu. And Hiromatsu was like, no, don't do nothing. So I say Hiromatsu knows, he knows not to act without checking in with Toranaga. He has a lot of faith in the man that he's been around for some 40-something years, almost 50 years. But again, the young upstart in Nagakado is like, it's better to have some blood on our swords, and let's go to war. And then Toranaga is like, man, I gotta tell you again. And he turns around to him like, you're not picking up nothing that I'm saying to you about not attacking first, not showing your head first. He's like, why are the ones who've never been in war the only ones who are so eager to be in one? Shut up. And it's also, even when they come back to from out in the woods, where he was contemplating, he walks back into town, and Lady Gin is like, sir, Lord, can I get a moment? I got this business proposal. And again, Nagakado speaks up, speaks out of turn. Why ain't you busy counting your silver? Like as much as the men want to downplay the women and keep them in their place, but the women, it's a certain power that they control. Based on that box, based on the services that they provide in the Willow world, they have their demand will never die. I guess Nagakado is immune to it. he's more focused on getting his death, his first kill, than the women. So he's one of the exceptions. But most of the guys would be at the tea house if they had a choice. So Lady Gin gets her stick of time. And again, the camera is constantly shifting from watching this stick burn to shifting between Toranaga and Lady Gin. And she reveals herself that, like, and she comes in, she's all docile and like subservient, deferential. I'm talking to a Lord and I really need his blessings on this, and I really need my proposal to be considered, heard, and approved. And she's like, I don't know if you know, and it's weird that she's shooting her shot at this moment. It's like, in the midst of everything that's going on, let me go in here and represent all of the courtesans and like have this MLK moment on behalf of all of the women in my trade. It's kind of wild. But she says, I don't know if you know what being in the Willow world is all about, or if you even, because you haven't been in my tea house yet. But we're constantly just being in service to great men. And we do that with all this vigor, and we give you our wisdom and our charisma. We laugh at your jokes and read you to know how best to serve you, so that you get what you need out of visiting us, whether it's a physical thing or what Lady Kiku was talking about, being at peace, and putting your mind at ease for however long you can, based on the troubles that you might be facing. And she says we do all of this and we're dedicated servants, but once we get older, we put on a little weight, we lose our beauty, maybe we're not as quick-witted anymore, we can't do our service at an elite level, we just get discarded. And I'm here to propose a franchise of Chick-fil-A's in Edo. You got some land there, we can set up a bunch of tea. The way that I've established and the way that I run my tea house is bigger than a brothel. It's something different. And Toranaga's like, why is this I'm trying to save my head right now, and you trying to give me head. You worried about being able to give head. Why is this a concern to me? But again, as resourceful as Toranaga is, he doesn't miss the value in this exchange, and what Lady Gin, when she turns the table, she said, I want a chain of franchises as well as a courtesan guild. So she working on a retirement plan, a Roth IRA, or matching contributions and all of that. She's serious. And as Toranaga's like, I think about it, if it's something that I can get to, whatever, but we're down bad right now, and some of us don't even have as much of a stick of time left in this world. And Lady Gin, she gets that her second wind. Like, I tried to come in here and play dumb, but bruh, come off the bullshit. Is it? She's like, is this the end? I don't believe that. She's like, and then she tells him, I know how you came up. We knew that we learned that you were passed around as a young boy or whatever, and used it as a pawn or whatever in the older men in your life. and you had to become cunning. You had to develop this type of guile. And I can't believe that you out here this exposed and this vulnerable, knowing that someone could come over that mountain and see you like this. I gotta think that you playing possum. Am I right? And we gotta read Toranaga a little bit. Like, damn, she made me. But he's still, you know, he's still playing his long game. But she says, yeah, you know, through hardships, tough times, and, you know, a lower status and whatnot, when you live like that, and when you rise to the political spot that you're in, and your influence and power, and then me being the richest woman, you know, I'm doing the best in my industry. We're two titans in what we do. You get all of that from that type of beginning. If you figured out how to take control of fate and wield it as a sword. So maybe it just it's a reminder to Toranaga to see this through. You know, maybe you were wavering a little bit, but now that this person plays the game the same way, maybe just this exchange is like, yeah, you know what? You can have the territory that you want to get them Chick-fil-A set up. You do that. I'm gonna get that in the whip. All right, so then we get out of there and we see Nagakado and Omi talking shop. They're sitting in the hot springs, like, again, Nagakado is action. Let's go. Let's do. Let's move. Let's attack. Now they got this. Now they want me to complete seppuku. I'm on borrowed time anyway, so I gotta. You know, the only option for me is war. And then they have this discussion. You know, and then as he's talking tough to Omi in private, this damn Unk pops up. This dude is a killjoy. He fucking it up for everybody in this once peaceful fishing village. That Omi is like, man, I used to have my babe. I could get on the books anytime I wanted with Lady Kiku before all you motherfuckers showed up. Now this is war. We in this constant wartime, and you know, all the fate is shit too heavy, man. And Psyche comes out of nowhere and is like, your insults are as dull as your blades, man. And this shit you popping is hopeless. And you can reason with this however you want to, but the jig is up. And tomorrow I'm gonna be up out of here, go back and get, you know, I'm gonna assume my role with the regents. I'm on the right side of history, bro. And all Nagakado can do is talk. So he says, well, you know, if death is my fate, if dying in battle is my fate, then that's a beautiful death. Psyche is like, man, you ain't heard a word that I said since I showed up, and you still haven't picked up on nothing. Just a young Thundercat, just out here, whatever, but legacy. You don't even understand, you don't have any legacy, because as soon as we get to Osaka to be over for you, what's the beauty in that? What's the beauty in being forgotten before you were ever remembered, bruh? And Nagakado is like, okay. So then we get an interesting, shit is so bad for Yabushige that he decides to try to give a little katana lesson to Blackthorn. You remember back in like episode 2 or something, Yabushige, like he let out one of them little chuckles. It's like, this motherfucker walking around here with swords now? Okay, whatever. He's like, man, shit is looking so bad, man. Pull that shit out and let me see if you've done anything in any of this time to learn how to use this sword. Speaking of fate being wielded as a sword, pull that shit out and let me give you a little lesson. And he easily knocks the sword out of Blackthorn's hand, who's like, man, I'm a sailor, man. I don't know nothing about this shit, man. I we fight with cannons, and I go get my pistols. And it's a whole different ball game. But Yabashige is like, man, what am I doing fucking talking to you? That's how bad shit is. I'm out here fucking around with you. When Taro was over here behind the tree observing all of this, he said, man, it's like talking to you is like pissing in the wind. Talking about, you was just talking about pissing around to Lady Mariko. Talking to you is like pissing in the wind. So that's that. Now the interesting thing is this: where did the motivation for Nagakado come that resulted in this week's biggest development with the death of Nagakado, the son of Toranaga? And it's from this exchange with, I pinpointed it, it's from this exchange. It's a series of events with Nagakado and his exchange with his uncles, but this talk with Fuji is what really led to the culmination of the death of the young man. He comes over, he finds Fuji, who's out in the woods working on using the ninjagata. She's out there swinging the long spear-looking thing with the sword on the end of it. And again, Nagakado, it'll be good to finally fight. All this talking and waiting, he tells Fuji, she's like, well, us women might be called into battle and we might need to take arms, so I'm out here trying to sharpen up my skills. And Nagakado was like, that's a good move because it'll be good to finally fight. And then he kind of reminisces, and says, well, it was messed up, but I realize now, Tadayoshi lost his life. I should have been as brave as him. I should have been speaking up on my father's behalf when they were making the insults and the accusations, the false accusations against Toranaga. I should have been the one that with the outburst and should have. Again, he's still not getting it. You still want to act. You still want to make the first move and jeopardize yourself. And so here's where Fuji plants the seed that led to the young boy's death. She tells him, we do what we can when we can. It's okay that you didn't act that day. You've been dead anyway. You would have been in an urn, or your remains would have been over here. It's okay, bro. We do what we can when we can. And you see the light bulb go off in Nagakado, like, I need to take care of and I'm going to take care of And all right, so then we get to the closing scene. Toranaga's will. He's writing the will. That's how serious shit is getting. When Taro comes and makes his request, let me take the barbarian's head. This is after he pulled his sword on Blackthorn, a little sure meeting with Yabashigi, and he walked off. He goes over here to Toranaga and is like, let me take this man's head. I don't like the way he look at my wife, bro. Seriously, tired of it. I'm getting chastised by the other men. I need to take care of the situation. And of course, it's a fool. It's a no-go for Toranaga. He sends Bantaro off, and he's like, if you're gonna take Blackthorn's head, you gotta take your wife's head. You want to take your wife's head? Nah, she been begging me to kill her. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. So he's like, all right, well then get the hell up out of here and stand by for what we gonna do next. Get the hell up out of here. But he talks to Mariko, and he's like, man, what's going on with you? You can't be two. It is weird because he's like, we can't continue to be two things, but he's being multiple things. But he's the head of, he's the boss though. He's like, you can't be, you got all this stuff going on or whatever you're concealing with the barbarian. I need you to be exactly what I need you to be. Because it's times when she's not she didn't interpret nothing in the scene earlier in the exchange between Toranaga and Black Thorn. He's like, I need you to be focused. And she pulls out the knife and is like, look, being with this husband of mine and the curse on my family. She pulls out the knife and is like, let me end this tonight. Let me, y'all can do all of this without me. Toranaga slaps the knife out of her hand and is like, get out of here with this shit. So then we come back, we see this closing scene that starts with an exchange between Toranaga and his right man, Hiromatsu. He's like, bro, you've been with me all this time. You've been with me from my first battle, Mizoguchi. Why you didn't say nothing the other night? Why you didn't stick up for me? Why you didn't interrupt Saiki when he was talking that shit about me, sullying my name and whatnot? Why didn't you say anything? It's a test, I think. Hiromatsu, they kind of reminisce. It didn't take one cut or one swing to chop off Mizoguchi's head. You actually needed 9 times, boss. So it's like Hiromatsu just naturally knows when he can be at ease and when he must extend the proper respect that you are talking to your lord and what you can say. But he's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really know what was going on, man. I'm just playing my part, bro. I'm sorry. Man, shit. What Saiki told us. So then we get to right after that. All of Toranaga's men gather, and then they take their seats in the little setup there. The Hatamoto takes his seat. Wantaro, Yabashigi, Nagakado, Lady Mariko, Hiromatsu, they're all there. And then the light gray team comes. And Saiki, we've come to hear your formal decision. And without a whole lot of delay, Toranaga announces, I'll be surrendering. I've thought it through. I've contemplated all of this. I'll be surrendering. And he was like, again, the realm, I've been telling y'all from the beginning, the realm is more important than individual pursuits. So, I've tried to do some things. I tried to make y'all see things my way. I tried to prolong things, but hey, you have 5 regents now. You guys have impeached me, or not. I haven't even been impeached because I resigned, but now the decree has come down that for me to surrender and move on. So I'm gonna come to Osaka and take care of this. And again, he's just saying all of this to look good. I don't want to be the shogun. I don't want to be in charge. Whatever. I'm a noble dude, and it's not about me. But I gotta think. Again, it's something, and from what I understand, the final episode is called Crimson Sky. So whatever this major operation is, this big plan is, maybe it's some Trojan horse like strategy. Him delivering himself to Osaka lines up with what they describe Crimson Sky being about. So it's kind of the James Bond hero thing where the hero is constantly in the hands of the villains and seems to be outdone and is weaponless. Usually they don't have no clothes on, or they're hanging upside down. Like they have no more moves to make. And we soon find out this is exactly what I wanted you to. This is exactly where I wanted to be, so that I can do what I'm getting ready to do. And that's kind of what this is lining up to be about. Oh, so then, Blackthorn, defiantly, I guess Buntaro forgot to tell his wife from earlier in the opening scene when he went over to Mariko and was like, hey, don't forget to tell the barbarian, say nothing, shut up. He didn't say that here. He gets up in front of everybody after Buntaro has given his final decision that he'll surrender, and Blackthorn calls out Nagakado, calls out Buntaro, Yabushi. All of y'all ain't shit. All of y'all is a group of fuck boys, and you letting this great leader right here, this brilliant leader in Toranaga-sama, y'all letting him down, and I ain't with this shit. And he storms out of there, and I'm surprised. Like, why didn't he need to commit seppuku? I guess maybe he's exempted because he's a barbarian or whatever. But for nobody to, and I think Buntaro was the one that did get up and go to pull his sword before he was told to stand down. But that was just very interesting that he was allowed to speak that freely and that aggressively and keep his head. Again, no interpretation from Mariko of what he said when he challenged everybody and threw everybody under the bus and and talked his shit, said it with his chest. She didn't say nothing. I didn't hear it before he storms off. Then we get to the unhappy ending. Pause. Happy ending. Tea house. Lady Kiku and Saiki. But we get to the scene and Saiki has the red ribbon around his neck that Lady Kiku can pull from the front, and he's behind her. Some doggy style action or whatever. And he think he going. I told you, Sunshine. He's like, hey, I'm bringing you to Edo when this is all over with. I'm building you your own palace. I'm so glad I came to Izu and met you. I'm so glad to be in this fishing village and to have met you. You changed my life. This is like my man in the Rage in Harlem, honey. He made the call home, honey. Tell the kids I love them. I'm never coming back home. He's like, I'm gonna build you this palace, and I can't wait to get you there. And she's like, well, that's nice. She says, do you want to elevate our play? He's like, what? I got some tools, I got some toys and whatnot. I just gotta go in the other room. Just give me a second, and we can continue. We can continue this on. This ain't a matter of a stick of time. You just get time where I take your stick and whatever. Anyway. He exits the room, and Saiki is left to kind of regain his composure. Man, well, I've been with this all week. Well, I got the 2 or 3 days, that he was spending with her. And then he hears some rustling going on out in the other room, and he realizes, something is going on here. It's an attack. And lo and behold, here comes Nagakado, trying to do what he can when he can. And it had to happen right now, because tomorrow they were taking off to Osaka, and he had to shoot his shot. Him and a couple of other men. We don't see if Omi has joined him in this move, but he gets in here with his uncle, and it's like, yeah, bruh, I ain't doing this. The hell with your seppuku order. I'm putting a stop to this now. and you gotta go. You've been a shame to the family name, and it's a real gangster moment from Saeki. He's like finally trying to become a man, huh? It was almost like Bishop in Juice when Q pulled a gun on him. You finally want to stand up and be a man, huh? Before Q throws the gun into the river, foolishly. But he said, then I give you a little credit, and he doesn't panic because he's an older warrior and whatnot, and he continues to put his knot on his robe before Nagakado goes to finish the job. They make their way out into the pond, slippery surfaces and whatnot, and Saeki falls down and it really has no more moves to make. He can't run anymore because it's enclosed. And as Nagakado moves in to finish him off, he steps on the wet silk robe of his uncle, slips, falls backwards, and busts the back of his head, and blood is flowing all over the place. And I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. I had big hope. I had a lot of faith in young Nagakado. And to die like this, which is probably a metaphor, again, this is the reason why you don't act first. This is why you don't attack. Because you create more situations that you can't account for in potential outcomes. Whereas if you goad or coerce your opponent into acting first, that gives the advantage to you because you know specifically what you have to do. And so that's kind of the lesson in this whole thing of why Toranaga repeatedly told this man, you too eager to fight, you too eager to go to war. You don't know how to fall back and read the room, contemplate, and make your opponent mess up. And it costs you your life. And then Saeki reiterates, what's the beauty in this? Here you are, again, turning to war and setting things in motion that you couldn't take care of. And now you're sitting here dying this embarrassing death where you killed yourself. You couldn't even kill an unarmed man who just lost his legs in here enjoying the pleasures of Lady Cuckoo. I'm at half strength, barely dressed, no sword, no men. I'm completely I'm at your I'm completely vulnerable, and you in haste to quench your bloodthirst, you killed yourself. And so that's the end of the episode. And we have episode 8, 9, and 10 to see what's going on here. So that's it. Let me get on out of here. Big fan of the show, fully enjoying the show. Again, I thought this episode was a little slow until I went back and looked at some of the little subtleties and these different, everybody's, where everybody stands with their approach to dealing with fate. What do you do? How do you what's your approach? Choose your own adventure and whatnot. So, all right, man, let me get on out of here. My name is Wood. If you want to holler at me, you could easily leave some comments on here, on the YouTube video. If you want to holler at me with what your thoughts are on the show, you can email me at paymenomindShow@gmail.com. And I would love to hear any theories or reactions, how you read interpretations, show meeting your expectations, exceeding your expectations. Has it gotten old? You think it's running out of time? I'd love to hear it. But anyway, with that said, I got to get out of here.